got the bloodlust.
Me too.
I want to kill. Let's kill.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to The Bloodlust. This is your go-to podcast for classy broads talking horror since 2014. This is episode 285 of the program. Tonight we are talking about The Long Walk. This is, I think, the third Stephen King adaptation of this year, with another TV show and movie to come.
And it's almost his birthday.
That's true.
We learned it yesterday.
Oh, yeah. My name is Amy. I'm your fearless leader, joined, as always, by my lovely and talented and charming and funny co-host, Kay.
Oh, that was so nice. Oh my goodness. It's almost like I said it my damn self.
We went to Buffalo for a wedding.
Yeah, we did.
Kay's hometown.
I got a neck tattoo.
Yeah.
It's gone now. It was temporary, but I did feel really cool when I had it on.
It looked surprisingly very good.
Yeah, I've got, as it turns out, I've got a really good neck for tattoos.
Just something to keep in mind for later. But it's been kind of a weird, surreal week. And I hope that you listeners are doing well.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a kind of appropriate movie to be discussing in light of recent things. But before we get into The Long Walk, let's cover some of our horror homework, shall we?
We did homework.
Yeah. Some just this morning.
Yeah.
And boy, were they two weird ones.
Well, and they were, it was almost thematically like you chose them.
I know.
It was weird.
And oddly, both of the writer-directors for those movies wrote the movies while they were going through
Divorces, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very thematically linked. Only because The Changeling is not on streaming. Otherwise, it would not have been.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been like a nice little bow like it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess it worked out. Although I really want you to watch The Changeling at some point. But we started in 1979 with David Cronenberg's The Brood.
The Brood.
Starring, among other people, Oliver Reed, who for some reason to me is always campy no matter what he's in. I don't know if it's his accent, the fact that his face is always red, like he looks like he's having a high blood pressure incident. I don't know what it is.
His little jaunty outfits. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
So, Babe.
Yes.
Oh, and I should point out that The Brood is currently available to stream on the Criterion Channel and HBO. Would you like to tell the listeners what The Brood is about?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
It's going to be great. Okay, so we've got Daddy Frank, and then we've got his daughter, Candace, who is definitely not a robot, except for 100% a robot. That's not a plot point. It's just a really weird acting choice
just
for
not
this
a
child.
great little actor, no.
They're living at home whilst Mama's being treated with an experimental therapy called psychoplasmics.
That's right.
Thank you.
Which is like a weird version of Gestalt therapy.
Yeah, it's...
Except it makes weird things happen physically.
Yeah, for the body.
That's correct.
So the therapy allows visits from Candace once a week, but she comes home with scratches, and then the Daddy Frank is like, absolutely not. She's never going back. I want a divorce. So then we are talking to the grandma, and she talks about how Nola, her daughter, the mom in therapy, has skin lesions since she was a child that no one can explain. But why is she telling this to a 5-year-old? I'm not sure. That's fine. But then Candy watches a creepy little baloney baby.
Now, why do you call it that, Babe?
Because these little creatures look like they just have a slap of a slice of bologna on top of their face. It's so weird. Anyways, Baloney Baby comes in and kills Grandma.
Right.
And the baby watches it, of course. Then I lost my spot. Hal refuses to tell Nola that her mom has died, and her ex-husband Barton has some drinks about it and convinces Frank that they have to break in and tell her.
Is Frank the dad?
Frank is the dad, yes.
Yeah.
Then thank the Lord the teacher was there having dinner, because Frank's just like, bye, can you watch my child? I'm going to go. Great. The next day, but by the time that Frank gets to Barton, he's also been murdered by the Baloney Babies. Then the next day, the Baloney Babies take down the teachers in front of a class of kindergartners.
Oh, that's right.
Then Nola, Anyways, Nola is Hal's darling and is going to be the breakthrough that he's been waiting for, but even he has to admit that things are going off the rails when the baloney babies take Candy back to them into the attic where they live. Finally, we learn that these little demons are Nola's anger personified, obviously.
That she births in a sack.
It's through her body, yeah.
Yeah.
So he convinces Frank to go talk to Nola and keep her calm so that Hal can go in and get Candy back, but that doesn't work. Hal gets murdered. The babies are going to turn on Candy. Then the only thing that Frank can do is strangle Nola, severing the ties between her and the little wee monsters. Frank gets into the attic, scoops up his daughter. We zoom in on the newly formed skin lesions, leading us to believe that she will also have her mother's affliction. And the end, it's all about trauma of divorce.
That's right.
Fucking up your kids.
Yeah. Leaving your kids with their teacher for extended periods of time.
Another crossover in the next movie.
Yeah. So, this is a David Cronenberg movie. He's famously a very weird guy with an obsession with bodily disfigurement and body horror in general.
Yeah. The kill scenes weren't that bad. The worst scene was definitely when she has her newest little possession baby in front of her husband, and she is licking
That's right.
the birth goo off of it.
Mm-hmm. Like a dog, like a mother dog.
Like a mother dog.
That's right.
Like the bitch that she is.
Yeah. So, did you like it?
I'll give it a solid 3. I mean, I was along for the ride. There was twists and turns and fun characters, and I didn't even mention the other people who are being therapized that we get to meet.
Like the guy who wants everyone to be his daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
I give it about the same. This is one of, I think, one of the easier to follow David Cronenberg movies. Some of them get pretty weird, like Videodrome and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of him as a director. I've kind of liked some of his more recent movies a little bit more than some of these older ones. But The Brood was one I always kind of liked.
I mean, I thought the mom was a great actress.
I like that actress. I thought she did a good job.
Yeah.
But it's clear that Cronenberg thinks women are crazy and doesn't have a high opinion of therapy.
Yeah.
Is what I take from it.
Right.
Speaking of people thinking women are crazy, the next movie we watched, we have ventured into the 80s, listeners.
Bow, 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 bow.
We were going to start with The Changeling, which came out in 80, but it is not on streaming currently, and I didn't want to rent it because I figured we'd do all the streamers first. So we did Possession, a 1981 film by Andrzej Zulawski, which is currently on, like, everything. It's on Shudder, it's on AMC+, it's on Kanopy, it's on Hoopla, it's on HBO. It's a very popular movie.
Is it?
It is yes, it's on the definitive list of the top 250 best horror movies. It's on the definitive list of the best performances in horror films.
For the listeners out there, you can't see, but I'm just doing a solid blank stare.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting nooch face from Babe. Would you like to tell them what this one's about, sweetheart?
I can sure freaking try.
I'd love to hear your description of this. Go ahead.
All right. The second film is about relationships and trauma and its effect on children as well. Okay, so Mark is away being a spy and earning himself a briefcase full of cash. His bosses are ready to ship him out to his next job, but he refuses and is ready to head home and see his wife and his little boy. When he gets home, Anna tells him that she wants a divorce and she has a new lover. She leaves Mark and Bob in the apartment while Mark is trying anything that he can to connect with her again. He calls her friends, he calls her lover, he begs to talk to her, whatever. Anna does end up coming back to talk to Mark and to check in on Bob, but it always leads into this dizzying confessions and also physical violence every single time.
And lots of screaming.
Anna is trying to explain her feelings about guilt and lust and tells Mark of the miscarriage that she had on the subway where she birthed her physical representation of evil, lots of blood and pus, and then she's off again. Okay. Mark hires a PI to figure out where Anna's staying and meets Anna's boyfriend. Obviously, he hates him and muchísimo ensues. Mark meets Anna's doppelganger Helen, who is Bob's teacher, and all of the good, sweet, caring things that he loves about Anna, and the fact that they look exactly alike, is perfect. Except for he can't stay away from Anna. So he heads to her apartment and sees this guilt, evil, tentacle monster thing having sex with her, and can't help but watch, and let us also watch this disturbing sex scene. Mm-hmm. The monster eventually turns into Mark's doppelganger, and the original couple dies from murder-suicide, leaving Helen and, not Mark, with Bob. Bob nopes right out of the situation and drowns himself in the bath. What the fuck did we just watch? That's my summary of this one.
Yes. Also, another one written while Zulawski was going through divorce. Mm-hmm. Women. Aren't they strange and inscrutable creatures?
Yeah. Well, at least he found Helen, who has no other feelings except for the caring mother, caregiver. Thank God.
Right. They both kind of found at the end the best possible version of their spouse.
Right.
By, I guess, creating them, or I don't know. What'd you think of Possession, babe?
I didn't get... I'm going to give this one like a 2.5. I can't even go middle of the road. I think I liked the way that the outfits looked, but I was also infuriated that they were just driving over the head with the symbolism. Like, of course, she's only allowed to wear blue dresses, and the teacher's only allowed to wear white, and Mark is only allowed to wear green, and, so...
And her blue dresses are very,
buttoned up,
and the buttons are in the back, so
right.
She doesn't have control over them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I feel the same way you do about this movie. I know this is a classic, and I've tried to watch it many times, and tried to see what other people get out of it. But to me, I like dynamics in a movie. I like things to build to something. I don't like everything to be at an 11 for the entire movie.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot has been made of Isabella Adjani's performance in this movie, and while I do think that it's impressive that she was able to be so unhinged, and there are some moments in the movie, like in the subway freakout, where her eyes are like terrifying because she just looks so manic and haunted and stuff. Most of it to me is too much.
Yeah.
It's melodramatics, and it doesn't... I think it's just, you're just constantly being barraged with all of this screaming and histrionics, and it's kind of the antithesis of what I like in a movie. I like subtlety.
Right.
I like being able to tease out things based on nuance and things like that, and this movie...
And I like when you feel rewarded for figuring things out. This one is just like, what are you even saying? And then you're just going to scream about, what was it? Faith versus chance or something like that.
Right, the two daughters or sisters of...
Oh my God.
None of the dialogue... And I love David Lynch, okay? So obviously, stuff being hyper-realistic is not important to me. But... none of the dialogue in this movie feels like something that anyone is saying to each other. It's like they're just saying lines from a script at each other.
Yeah.
At no point do I feel like anything that is said is something that a husband and wife, when going through a crisis in their relationship, would say.
Right.
For the most part. The way they behave is I don't know, and maybe there's some reason to explain it, like that the presence of the tentacle monster, is affecting her and is affecting him and everyone that it comes in contact with somehow. But I don't know. It's maybe I just don't get it.
Yeah, I agree with the acting being at like a 100 the whole time. There's so many times where it just feels like this is a college film that they're handing in, and no one's there to rein them in.
Right. And this is a director that is a very lauded director, and I feel like he just pushed and pushed and pushed these actors. I mean, Sam Neill's performance is almost as unhinged as Isabella Gianni's performance.
Right.
I mean, even Heinrich, who was the only character in the movie that I liked. It was just, I don't know. This movie just has never worked for me.
Is it just because you could see his navel the whole time?
I mean, I loved his style, of course.
But of course.
But yeah, so Isabella Gianni won Best Actress at Cannes for this. It was actually for this and another performance she did that year, so maybe. But I don't know. You know, when I see things about the greatest performances in horror, she's always at the top, and I just don't agree.
Helen's cast wins Best Costume for me. It had a little heel on it.
Yes, the character. And there's also, you know, the teacher in this that they just dump the kid with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess the big things to take away from both of these movies is that divorce is very hard on the children.
Yes. You're going to fuck up your kids no matter what you do.
Yes. Hopefully some of the suitcase money went to his therapy.
Yeah.
Little Bob.
No, Bob killed himself.
Well, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It ends with this, like, apocalyptic kind of notion with, like, bombs falling, it seems like, at the end. And do we not kind of feel like both of these women are written as just being hysterical females?
Yeah, they're hysterical, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. They just, they feel both to me like movies written by men who don't understand women.
I mean, I think that Anna had more of her own plight to it, of like she was left alone by her spy husband, and
right. She
did go out and have other, you know, relationships, and she doesn't want to let that part of her go. But she still, you know, also wants to be with her husband, and even though that's a horrible idea and ends in her cutting her throat and then him cutting his arm, and just so much physical violence.
I would say
slapping each other around.
This is like the unhinged, surreal version of Marriage Story. And I would just suggest you go ahead and watch Marriage Story, because they do a much better job in that of depicting a marriage falling apart.
All right.
So those were our horror homework movies for this time. I didn't really think you were going to like either of these, so...
They're definitely very low on the homework that I've seen so far.
I know it. But I felt like they were important for you to see.
It is knowledge.
Yes. Because they are both... I mean, David Cronenberg is one of the, like, top-tier horror directors of all time, and Possession is a really popular and highly regarded horror movie. I just don't get it personally. You know, I'm usually a giant snob and I like things that snobs like, but this one just doesn't do it for me. So, that has been our horror homework for this time. We would love to hear what you think of both of these movies, The Brood and Possession. And for next time, we're going to be doing 2 movies from 1986. We're jumping forward a little bit. Both of them about very non-supernatural and non-surreal kind of things. So one of them is Manhunter, directed by Michael Mann, based on the novel by Thomas Harris, which is about Hannibal Lecter. It is a prequel to The Silence of the Lambs.
Ah!
And it's very good.
Can't wait.
And it has the guy from CSI in it, William Peterson.
That guy.
Mm-hmm. And the other one is Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. And that is a very disturbing movie loosely based on, I think, Henry Lee Lucas, the serial killer.
I love killers.
Yeah, I know you do. So I think you'll like both of these quite a bit better.
Yeah.
Manhunter is on Prime, it's on Criterion Channel, and it's on Kanopy. And Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is just on Prime. So watch those, and we will talk about them on the next episode. And that has been Horror Homework.
Horror homework.
We should have a little jingle for that.
Here's that jingle for goldfish, those baked and not fried goldfish. I'm pretty sure that one's free. You can have that one.
Yeah.
The wholesome snack that smiles back until you bite their heads off. You know they're made with real cheese, even though they look like fishies. The snack that smiles back, goldfish.
That's very cute, babe.
Yeah, that'll be this jingle.
Okay.
It fits.
Shall we start talking
About a movie that we actually liked?
Yes.
Great.
Let's talk about The Long Walk. Here are the stats. This movie is rated R for headshots and poop.
I almost did a spit take.
It has a runtime of 1 hour 48 minutes. It was directed by Francis Lawrence. You may know that name from the Hunger Games sequels. Not the first Hunger Games, but the rest of the Hunger Games. And the upcoming Hunger Games movie that's coming out, he is also directing.
Beautiful.
It was written by JT Mollner, based on the novel by Stephen King. JT Mollner wrote Strange Darling, which we reviewed earlier this year. That was that one where you think that the guy is going after the girl to kill her, but it really turned out to be the girl going after the guy to kill him. And she was the serial killer all along.
Yeah.
That one.
That one.
This, so Stephen King wrote this in, I think, 1967 under a pseudonym. Well, he wrote it in 1967. It wasn't published until, like, 1979 or something, under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. It stars Cooper Hoffman, who is Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid, David Jonsson, who you might know from Alien Romulus, and Mark Hamill, who you might know from being a person that lives in the world. It was released...
Nailed it.
It was released in the US September 12th of this year. On Rotten Tomatoes, it is 90% fresh with critics, 85% fresh with the audience. And it's currently still in theaters. What is this about? It is your typical kind of battle royale movie, which battle royale probably being partially based on the Long Walk novel. So in the United States of an undetermined year, 50 boys are chosen from a lottery, one boy from each state, to walk as long as they possibly can. They may not drop below 3 miles per hour. The last boy standing wins. This is what it's about. We have a couple main characters. Ray Garrity, who is played by Hoffman. He is our main guy. We see him get dropped off by his mom, who's played by Judy Greer. Hair up, glasses off. Say goodbye to these, Judy Greer. Who is very good in this, by the way. Even though she's got a really short
Very small part
and is the only female in the movie.
I guess she is.
There's Pete, the other main character. He's played by David Jonsson from Alien Romulus. There are some other characters that end up being important. Like, can you help me out with some of their names?
Well, we got Hank. That's the one that kept getting the muscle weakness with the gum. And then we've got... who else? Gary's the one that was making fun of Rank. Rank is the one that got killed.
Demchick or something was his name. Yeah.
And I don't remember, what was the last Musketeer's name that ended up getting like the nosebleed clot?
The kid, the religious one.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But there's several of the kids that we come to know more about, but Pete and Ray are the main characters.
Yes.
And Mark Hamill is the major. So these kids all start walking. There's a bunch of, and it's supposed to be televised across the country, although they don't really show that too much. You're just on the walk with them. It's not like Hunger Games where you see the stuff that's happening in the Capitol and the people of the Capitol and the people of the different districts like watching stuff. You never see it from that angle.
No.
The only angle you ever see it from is the kids on the walk. Not too much else that you need to know about it before starting. What did you think about The Long Walk?
I thought it was surprisingly engaging. I think that it could have very easily been a mess and really boring, that we really just watched them walk the entire movie. And you got some stories from, their backgrounds, and you got some character building while they're, going through it. But honestly, like, there's really,
maybe 2 flashbacks and they're very brief.
Really almost nothing but them being on the road and walking in a straight line. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was really compelling. I think that I felt a lot for the characters. I was sad when almost every single one of them died. I thought that, like, there was some very pointed messaging in it as well. And, they said things like, I thought that the killings would get easier. And the other one's like, I'm afraid if it does.
Right.
And it's just sad and sweet. And it was strange to watch, having watched The Hunger Games so recently as well, because we watched Catching Fire.
Yeah, just last week.
And it's like the same in, like, you're trying to be the last person standing, but completely opposite, because, you're not attacking other people. And the one kid that was attacking the, rank, ended up, everyone hated him.
Right.
Their camaraderie, and, like, they're in it together. And yes, they know that they are trying to be the last one standing, but, like, not in a malicious way, in a way that they're trying to better themselves and their family and their situation. And, they're all kind of rooting for each other, which is so sad because they're all gonna die except for one.
Right.
And it's just like, it's so weird to have that opposite of a viewpoint than the Hunger Games, where you're kind of like looking at allies and people taking advantages.
Whatever. Yeah. And getting help from, like, the audience and things like that. This is not really like that.
It's just a mindfuck. And you just gotta keep going.
Right. It's just a tolerance game. Although the connections that they make do help them.
Yeah.
Our main characters could have died several times along the way, and they save each other over and over again.
Right. Either by, like, just words of encouragement, sleeping on each other while they're sleepwalking at 3 miles an hour, which is just crazy. And just encouraging them to, stay back, going back and actively, physically picking them up and hurrying them along,
Right.
Awful.
Yeah. This was written in, 66, 67, so it's obvious what this was a reaction to. There are kids at that time that were being sent off by a draft to go and march and get killed. And those killings were broadcast on TV for people to watch.
Right.
It's very clear what he was talking about. And this feels to me very much like it's an anti-war movie.
Right.
More than it is a Hunger Games type movie. And I think they do a really nice job of developing relationships between the characters the same way that it is done in a war movie. And that's what it felt like to me. It also really felt, as far as, because they, like we said, they don't set it in a place or in a time.
Right.
But everything looks like Dust Bowl, Grapes of Wrath style, like just everything's economically devastated. And what it felt like to me, too, and why I found it to be still very relevant, is that it felt like it was kind of addressing the way that, like, army recruitment centers pop up in the worst neighborhoods.
Sure.
In the most economically disadvantaged cities and towns, and convince these young men that they can trade their allegiance and participation in something that might get them killed so that they can go to college or have a better life for their family.
Right.
And that's what this feels like to me. And it's unfortunate that it's still so timely and relevant. But that's what it felt like to me. It's surprising for a lot of reasons to me that this works. Because it's surprising that something as simple as this, with this kind of premise, would work in a post-Battle Royale and Hunger Games and Squid Games type world. You know, it's a very, very simple premise. But I think what makes it work is that the screenplay is really good.
Right.
There's a little bit of corniness and a little bit of saccharine stuff at the end. But by and large, I feel like the kids were well fleshed out and not, with the exception of Ray, not totally angelic, you know, and had a bit of had layers to their personalities.
For sure.
To their characters. And I think that the writing and the performances are what makes this better than it should have been. But I also think that, you know, like you said, all they're doing is walking and talking, right? And to be able to film that in a way that keeps it from becoming boring and static, I think is very impressive.
And I felt tired with them. I felt what they were trying to convey. Like, it was very good.
Yeah. And I thought that the way that the camera follows and captures and frames the characters, it didn't feel boring or samey the whole way. I think he found different ways to make it fresh, where it wasn't monotonous for the viewer. I think that the dialogue, as far as the way that teenage boys talk to each other, felt true to me.
Yeah.
As far as, like, the way that, you know, somebody like the Major would have talked to young men. All the talk about, you know, you have to have a big sack and blah, blah, blah. And
You're really swinging it.
Right. All of that stuff all rang really true as far as, like, what I would imagine somebody in authority would say to boys like that.
To keep them motivated,
yeah. And how they would talk to each other. The friendship between Ray and Pete seems like a prototype friendship between Andy Dufresne and Red from the Shawshank Redemption. They feel like they're cut from the same cloth. It's obvious the same guy wrote both of those friendships, you know what I mean? It seems like a trial run, Andy and Red.
I loved their relationship.
Yeah, I did too.
It.
I did too. And I liked the back and forth between the main characters and Ray's kind of negative kind of worldview and his pessimism, as opposed to Pete, who has had it really, really difficult, but still has found a way to kind of focus on the things that he values and
the way that he sees the world. He's a poet. He's a songwriter. He makes everything just... He's not sugarcoating things, but he is happy to be in the sunshine and walking and, you know, having this potential to make a wish. And his wish is going to be that 2 people can win so that, you know, next time it's not going to be as hard for, you know, the next competitors. Ugh, just a sweet, sweet boy.
Yeah. I liked that there was a gay subtext in this that
there
I was not
was.
expecting. Pete's character is queer-coded. He doesn't come out and say it, but he heavily implies it to Ray. And I like that.
And even though the other guys are making, like, gay jokes and, like, fucking around with him, which is whatever, that's just what guys do, I can tell you. But he doesn't ever get offended by it. He's just like, wow, you want some?
Yeah,
I love it. Love it.
Right. Interestingly, I haven't read this book. I didn't know it existed. I've never read any Richard Bachman books. I've read a lot of Stephen King, but I've never gotten into, like, the pseudonyms, and I wasn't aware of this book. Evidently, in the book, Ray has some some doubts about his sexuality and has feelings for Pete.
Aww.
Which is interesting that they didn't get into that. But they wanted to make it more of a pure brotherly love thing, and that's fine.
That's fine.
The stuff about Ray's father isn't in the book. They added that. The ending is changed. We'll discuss that. I found it interesting that this is kind of like a movie version of The West Wing, where they've nailed the walk and talk really well.
You love the walk and talk.
Mm-hmm.
SVU has a lot of walk and talks too.
Oh, yeah. Whenever you got to get a lot of plot done in a small amount of time.
Come on, walk with me.
But I feel like it had to have been a difficult movie to film.
Had to have been.
And I give the director a lot of credit for being able to handle a movie as crazy and stylish and stuff as the Hunger Games movies, and then to do something like this, which has a totally different feel, even if the subject matter is kind of similar. You wouldn't know that this is the same guy that made the Hunger Games.
Absolutely not.
And I like the look of it. I think it looks really pretty. Even though it's not grounded in a specific era, it feels very 60s, 70s. But also very Great Depression in a way.
Right.
So it has that kind of out of a particular time, alternate timeline kind of feel. And even like the film is kind of colored almost sepia. Like it looks like it came from the 70s, which I appreciated.
There's just one shot that just like will forever be in my mind of they're at night, there's only 6 of them left, there's the truck behind them with their headlights, coming through, and you can see all of them outlined, but just the silhouette of them in the front. It's so beautiful. It's just like, ugh, I hate that you guys are doing this, and this is so pretty.
Right.
It looked really cute.
What did you think about... I don't know that I could really grasp the reasoning of why the walk was a thing in the world of the movie.
I think it's just, he said that filming it and letting the people back home see it, gets together all of their pride for America. You've got your one kid from each state, so they're all representing, someone's state, and they're rooting for them to win because they're going to win all this monies and all this glory, and they're going to beat out the rest. And he said the major said that it keeps everyone motivated and keeping America being the best. That's what he said. But also the kids very explicitly say that, it's not volunteering because everyone puts their name in. Have you ever met anyone that hasn't? So then our choice is taken out of this. It's not a choice anymore.
Why do you think he would do it? Why do you think Stephen King would write it like that instead of it being like the Hunger Games where it's a lottery and they're just picked?
I think it's all because he's trying to drum up morale and pride.
But why do the kids do it?
Because kids believe that they're invincible.
Yeah.
They believe that they can do it. And it's not even... They all think that they can do it even when they're sitting there before the walk starts. It's not until halfway through the walk that people are like, shit.
Yeah. But why would Pete do it? Pete's seen death up close. Pete just felt like he didn't have anything to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
He's been walking his whole life.
I think this has a lot to say. I think that it's all pretty well conveyed. I think, it shows really well how something like totalitarianism or fascism can make the people that live under it used to this stuff.
Right.
And accustomed to it. I liked that line that you mentioned from the dialogue between Petey and Ray about that because of that. Because I think it's so easy to make us make this just part of everyday life.
Right.
Make constant shootings, for example, a part of everyday life. Wouldn't it be nice if this wasn't so relevant?
Yeah.
Anything you didn't like about it? Did you think there was going to be this much poop?
I didn't know what I didn't even know what the movie was about.
I love that you go in blind for these things. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, as a general rule, you say, we're going to the movies, and I say, ooh, popcorn. And that is as far as I look into. So yeah, I didn't know what it was about. I was gathering what was happening. It wasn't until Curly got shot that I was like, oh,
so you didn't
it's
even
like
know
that.
the losers died?
No.
Because they don't say that. They say they get their ticket.
yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Curly got his little Charlie horse, and I was like, oh, they killed him. All right. Higher stakes now.
That's right.
Definitely different. But yeah, I did not, I mean, I guess if you literally, the whole time I just kept thinking, all they have to do is make it till the nighttime. They're going to let them rest and start again in the morning. And no, they don't get to sleep. And so, yeah, no, they don't get to take bathroom breaks. You get to watch, it's Pete first who's peeing. He's like, gotta take a leak. Watch out, boys. And turns around and just pees while he's walking. And then, people are having stomach troubles and now just like straight up diarrhea. Wow.
And one character says, most guys poop once a week. I poop every day. It's like, bro, you should be pooping every day.
It must be because they're not getting enough nutrition. It has to be because it's depression. Once a week? Listeners, let us know.
Honestly, yeah. I'm a vegan. I poop a couple times a day. You know?
I'm usually a one and done, but still not once a week.
I eat a lot of fiber. You should all be eating more fiber if you're pooping once a week.
Eat a goddamn vegetable.
I'm disturbed.
And now you know about our poop. Do you like it?
Aren't you glad?
Yeah?
Aren't you glad, listeners? We eat lots of fiber in this house.
It's like you live with us.
Mm-hmm. But really, no one's as gassy as the dog.
Yeah.
Anyway, the only thing that I really, as far as like critiques, things that I didn't totally like.
Critiques.
They did make it very clear who was going to be left.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If you have the Four Musketeers at the beginning, then you know that the Four Musketeers are going to be the main characters throughout. Although, after that first night, I did think we were down to 2 Musketeers.
Yes.
Because
they go up an incline, and it knocks off half of them.
well, it's also, well, yeah, that's true. But, like, Ray falls asleep for a while, then he wakes up, and he's with Petey, who's been, holding him up and helping him sleepwalk. And he asks about the other 2 Musketeers, and he's just like, yeah, they're fine, just keep going. And I thought that was going to be like, no, we lost them during the first night. But no, they were fine. Made it to the end.
I even liked the characters that were supposed to be assholes in this. They gave them both layers that made us care about them too.
A little bit of a redemption at the end too, when the one kid that was making fun was like, oh, Hank's the only one with a wife. We should give him, they had all decided that they were going to give some money to Hank's wife, whoever was the winner. And this kid is just like, why didn't they ask me? Like, I want to give him money. Can you tell your friend that I want to give him money? And like,
Tell your friend I'm not a bad person.
Pete's standing like within earshot. He could hear it, but poor kid.
Yeah.
He was feeling bad.
You feel for everybody.
Shit talking going too far.
I think I would give this 4 stars. I would recommend it. 4 for you too?
Yeah, I'll meet you at 4.
I would recommend it. I think it's a good one to see in theaters. It's got a nice look. I don't think that it's necessarily such a big and visually impressive movie that you have to see it in theaters, but... And I don't think Stephen King nor Francis Lawrence super need your money, but because they're doing fine.
There was an applause break in our theater.
Yeah,
That was nice.
People clapped. We had a good crowd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend this. It is not particularly gory, but it's very bleak. It's very much a downer. It's got a very dark worldview. It's not going to make you walk out of there feeling good.
No. Nope.
But I think it's good. I think it's a good movie. And one of the better, like, battle royale type movies that I've seen. Because it just really, to me, feels more like a war movie. More like a, cog in the machine kind of war movie.
Yeah.
So, shall we get into some spoilers?
Spoilies.
All right, spoiler time. So, in the book, it's McFreeze, it's Petey that sits down, and which he tries to do in the movie, but Ray picks him up.
Right.
And convinces him to walk a little longer, and then Ray sits down and Petey doesn't even notice.
Correct.
And then Ray gets killed. In the book, Petey sits down and the other kid dies. The big strong kid who was the last one.
Superman, yeah.
Yeah. And Garrity wins by default because the other kid just drops dead of exhaustion, doesn't need to get shot. And he is just basically insane by then, and he just keeps walking because he sees this figure in the distance, and he says, oh, it's still on, I have to still keep going. And the book ends with him just walking, running away. In the movie, Ray wants to kill the Major because the Major had his father killed for having banned material and teaching his son banned things. And so he talks about this to Petey while they're walking, and Petey says, I don't think that's the best plan, you're just going to die.
Right.
Your dad stood up for his beliefs, and you and your mom had to see him killed in front of you. You don't want to do that to your mom. And there's a really poignant scene in the movie where he sees his mom and it just all comes down on him, and he realizes, oh my God, I did do exactly what my father did.
Yeah.
And now my mom's going to suffer because of me again. And I thought that was very mature and well put. At the end, though, we have Ray and Pete. Ray, who is a pessimist, and Pete, who is an optimist, and Pete, who has hope and sees beauty. And Ray says, well, you should make it. You're the one who's going to be able to see good and find happiness after this, and I'm not. And what really puts the dark note at the end of this is that that's not what happens.
No.
Ray's death kind of poisons Pete, and Pete then kind of becomes Ray and feels that
he wants to fulfill Ray's wish that Ray had told him about and kill the Major.
And so that's what he does.
Yeah.
And at the end, I mean, we just see him walk into the darkness. But
I think he died.
It's implied. I mean, there's no other way for it to have gone.
Yeah, there's no way the soldiers would have just let him kill the Major and let him walk off. He also got shot. That's why all of the crowds disappeared. That's why all the noise stopped. That's why he walked into the light,
Yeah. So it's a very sad ending. War leaves everybody.
Nobody wins in the
broken.
long walk.
Yeah. It's a downer.
Yeah.
But it's very much relevant to now, and I thought it was a good movie.
Terrible.
Terrible. But I'm telling you, David Jonsson is going to be huge. He's going to be a big star, and he deserves to be a big star.
Yeah.
He's very expressive, just instantly likable, charismatic, just a really good performance. And I thought Ray was very good too. And I appreciated the fact that, and I'm sure it's more to do with being a Nepo baby than anything else, but I appreciate the fact that he looks like a normal kid. That he had a little chunk on him. You know, that he didn't look like a 17 magazine cover model.
Yeah, I think that all of the kids looked very different from each other. It was easy to keep the characters straight. I think that like the amount of diversity that they had in the cast was great. Yeah, everyone's poor and everyone is volunteering and everyone's a part of this. And
mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if I felt like we needed to have this shit with his dad. But I guess it gives us a little bit more context about him.
For Ray. Yeah. No, I liked that. I liked the flashback of his dad teaching him like band books and band music, and you know, it gives you a place from which he is coming from. I liked it. Didn't mind.
Maybe I would have liked it better if we'd had a little bit more of that from Pete too.
Yeah.
Because Pete did strike me as the more interesting character.
Right. Yeah, you didn't get to hear... Well, you didn't get to see his family. You got to actually visibly see Mom and also Dad in the flashbacks. Pete, you didn't get flashbacks for. You just got the story of his scars.
The story, yeah. Anything else you want to say about this one? Worst death for you?
So much shit.
What would you have done if you were in that group?
I don't think I don't like walking to begin with.
Babe doesn't like walking.
I'm not a hiker. I think that I wouldn't have volunteered, number one. But if it was more of a lottery system and I was forced to, then I think my competitive side would keep me alive for, longer than I definitely want to walk.
Sure.
Because I don't want to walk even 2 miles.
Right.
But I'm sure that my body could handle 20. But then I feel like it would just be just like how I say if the zombie apocalypse happens, just kill me now. I'm not spending my whole life running.
Right.
No. I don't care. And for what good? Like, am I going to beat one person? Maybe. Am I going to beat 49 people? Absolutely not. Just take me out. What would you do?
I would try real hard.
Yeah, you like to be a good student.
You know I do.
Yeah, I'm the best. Teacher, look at me.
Yeah.
I like to do that too, but
teacher, I'm ever so smart.
Me.
But physically, I'm a little person. A very little person. And I don't know how well I could do.
Oh. I want to know how long that journalist was walking on that
broken ankle.
Broken ankle. I twisted my ankle real bad. Yeah, you did, kid.
It seems like somebody should have given Ray their shoes if they knew they were going to die.
He doesn't have time to stop and put them on. It doesn't matter.
I mean, if you have time to stop and squat and take a shit, you have time to put shoes on.
Yeah, well, what, is he going to hold him for 3 hours until all of his things were taken apart?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, they had to be on the pavement. It's not like, they're going through big rocks and shit.
I don't know. Even little rocks hurt my feet.
Yeah.
I have sensitive little feet.
I mean, even when he threw off his boots, they were bloody and mangled.
Well, people who run marathons get bloody feet, and that's 23 miles. Or 27. 26.
26.2.
I wouldn't know. I hate running.
Yeah.
Walking I can do.
At 3 miles an hour?
I don't really know. I should see how fast that is.
I mean, what's that? A 20-minute mile?
I could probably do that.
You could probably do that.
Yeah.
The dogs can almost do that.
The dogs do about a 30-minute mile. If I'm lucky.
They're going to have to pick it up.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So that is what we think about The Long Walk. We both recommend it and think you should see it. But it is a downer.
Yeah. Maybe have, I don't know.
Watch a Taskmaster afterwards.
Why don't you watch a Taskmaster?
Listeners, have you watched Taskmaster?
Have some ice cream and watch a Taskmaster.
It's on YouTube, and it's really funny. It's a British game show. We've been watching it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyway. What have you been reading, babe?
Well, I finished The Troop. You recommended that one to me. And that was very good. Who was it by?
Nick Cutter.
Nick Cutter. And, it's a bunch of scouts out in the woods. They're, like, teetering on the age of this is not cool anymore. And all of the kids are, like, getting too big for their britches. So he's dealing with that. He's the only doctor in the town. But then, this, like, supernatural scientific man comes wandering in, and he has to, decide, am I gonna save him? Well, I took the oath, I've got to try, and all hell breaks loose. Also, there's a bad kid also in there, and he likes to talk about, dismembering crawfish and squishing things and killing things, and wow, do you hate him? Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of camaraderie in this group too, and little friends and trying to make it, and
another all boys story.
Another all boys, another downer.
Mm-hmm. Yep, another sad ending.
So yeah, enjoy this with The Long Walk. Wow, what have I done to myself this week?
And you read The Exorcist too.
Yeah, and then I also read The Exorcist. Yeah,
also at my suggestion. One of the only books I have read in a single sitting.
Yeah, it was...
With maybe a bathroom break.
There was definitely really good characterization in there. I loved every character. Every single one. What have you been reading?
I finished The Woodkin by Alexander James, which was a hiking and evil cult in the woods book, which I enjoyed. And then I read Last Days by Adam Neville, who also wrote The Ritual, which is another hiking in the woods book. But Last Days is about a documentary filmmaker who gets a request to make a documentary about this cult, the Cult of the Last Days, which was led by this woman, and they moved from London to a farm in France to a mine in Arizona where many of them were killed and several of them disappeared. And the leader of the cult was beheaded. And then in filming the documentary, the filmmaker and his partner end up being plagued by supernatural things that were called by the cult. It was good. Both of them were good.
Hiking. Go on a long walk. That's what we've got to say. And get your costumer to put people in blue in every scene to show that they're, that they're lonely and they're depressed, and green with envy and white for innocence.
That's right.
Just hit them over the head with it. And that's all.
What are we doing next? Do you remember? Cuckoo. Good job.
Yeah.
We're finally going to review Cuckoo. It's been on the list for a very long time. We hadn't gotten to it yet. And I'm going to have a series of queer horror movies that I'm showing in the backyard at our house in October. And I was thinking about adding Cuckoo to that list, so I figured we better watch it first to see if it belongs on the list.
Why not?
It is playing currently on Hulu or Disney Plus / Hulu and on Kanopy. So we suggest that you check it out. I believe it has Dan Stevens. I know it has Hunter Schafer. And that you watch it and join us in 2 weeks so that we can discuss it together.
Come on back.
Come on back now, you hear? And I hope that you guys have a good 2 weeks. I hope nothing else horrible happens in the next 2 weeks. But who am I kidding? We know it's going to.
Guns.
That's right. If you have not given us a review on your listening platform of choice, we would love a review.
Can't goddamn say it one more time.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, movie recommendations, book recommendations, please send them to us at thebloodlustpodcast@gmail.com or on our website at thebloodlust.net, or on Facebook or Instagram or Threads. Babe,
Beep.
thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And listeners, thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. Until next time, this has been episode 285. I have been Amy.
And I'm Kay.
Thank you. Good night.
Hail Satan.
Very good.